Good morning to everybody in the room. I see that we are still a minute too early, but I think that we can start. I'm very excited to start our presentations for the day. I'm Ankie Roberts. I'm one of the senior learning designers at UP Online, and I'm very excited to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Phezulu Dhlodhlo, who will share his insight about the implementation of AI safely, ethically, and effectively. Mr. Dhlodhlo, welcome back. Please note that we have 15 minutes for your presentation and then 5 minutes for Q&As. And thank you so much for switching on your camera. The audience would like to see you while you introduce yourself, and we'd also like to capture a quick photo together before we get started. Over to you, Phezulu. You can share your presentation.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you again for the warm welcome. I appreciate that. To everyone who has joined, I just want to thank you so much for joining us. I hope you do find value in this session that we are going to be having together. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen now. Okay, I'm hoping that you are now seeing my screen. My name is Phezulu Dhlodhlo. I'll be deliberating with you about navigating AI safely, ethically, and effectively. And then for those who would like to perhaps connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. There are my details and the QR code that you can use to scan and connect with me. But in terms of the deliberations that we are going to be having, I am going to begin by touching on what is making the news headlines with regards to AI. Then we move on to AI governance, rationale for governance, use cases, and then challenges and the question and answers. So let's get started. So there are a lot of news headlines that have come to my attention. The first one that really stood out for me is that some Samsung employees, they accidentally leaked company secrets via ChatGPT. And then the good thing is that management had actually given them authorization to use ChatGPT since they were struggling with their code, and they were also trying to innovate and find new ways of solving business problems using some innovative technology. And because the secrets in the IP that was leaked there was of competitive value to them, then they decided to ban everyone in the company from using ChatGPT, which, you know, is very sort of confusing, because management on one side is saying use it, then things they blow up, then they want to change things. And then there are also some other incidents that have been recorded where students are sharing sexually explicit deepfakes in schools, and they are even creating some images that are deepfake. They are creating some audios that are deepfakes and sending them to each other via voice notes, which is very concerning, because we are seeing AI being put to use in actually perpetrating some crimes, cyberbullying, and it's very concerning. There are also other incidents where AI has been used in facial recognition software, and the AI that has been used in that particular facial recognition software has misidentified people. A particular case in point is of a lady who was 8 months pregnant called Portia Woodruff. So the facial recognition software identified her and put her at the crime scene of a car hijacking. And no matter how hard she tried to explain herself out of it, she just couldn't. And the case had to go to the courts and so forth. It became just very messy. And then we're now even seeing some new business models coming up, such as AI as a software, where you find malicious GPTs being provided on a subscription basis, like Fraud GPT, which can actually be used by people to commit fraud. You've got your WEM GPT as well, which can actually be used to compromise information communication technology systems. So all this is very concerning. And to make matters worse, we've got social media companies that are actually gathering personal information of their users without even their consent. And you'll find that even the opt-in, especially the opt-in pattern, especially in countries like ours, you will find that by default, you have been opted into sharing your personal information so that it can be used for AI training, which is not cool. So I think these are some of the things that we need to consider as we move towards AI and its adoption. And last but not least, there are other incidents related to computer vision where AI is unable to recognize people of color. And you begin to think of yourself, how safe are AI systems that are powered by AI systems that are unable to recognize people of color? Suppose they are used in an autonomous vehicle. When the vehicle is supposed to make a data-driven decision to protect a life, particularly with regards to a person of a color and the one who is not of color, how will the machine decide which person to protect their life and which one to sacrifice their life? So this is actually very concerning. And there are other instances where AI is being used for credit vetting, and because there isn't enough data points to actually sort of find some patterns and collaboration, then certain minority groups are being disadvantaged because they're then turned down from accessing financial resources simply because AI doesn't have adequate data about them, which then makes us to get to the point of why it is important that we govern AI. And then I've then thought to myself, let us discuss what is AI governance. And in trying to define what is AI governance, I came up with a very, very long definition there. But in a nutshell, these are policies, procedures, frameworks, and mechanisms to monitor the organization's regulatory, legal, ethical, environmental, and operational requirements that are needed to facilitate the development, deployment, management, and audit of AI systems in order to facilitate trustworthy stakeholder outcomes of safety, privacy, transparency, and accountability while mitigating bias. So in essence, while there are a lot of technological innovations surrounding AI, it is very important that senior leadership in any organization assesses the risk impact of AI and then provide some policies, procedures, sort of your guardrails as to how the AI can be used in order to provide some sustainable innovation that is in line with the business strategy, and also enabling some trustworthy stakeholder outcomes, be it it's the users or it is the platform developers of AI. And then here I've just cited a few other reasons why it's important to govern AI. And I've indicated that there's an exponential increase of AI tools that are available. Think of in academia, you have got education institutions, they are now embracing your Scopus AI, they are embracing Elicit AI, they are embracing many other AI tools for purposes of supporting research. However, what is confounding is that the institutions themselves, they do not have an AI governance framework. How do they, in an ethical way, in a legally acceptable way, use the AI technology that is available to the benefit of, it could be the students, it could be the lecturers, and even the research body that is available in the institution. So it is, for me, very important that while tools are available, we need to also ensure that we have proper governance systems that are in place in order to foster trust and accountability in those systems. Currently, we don't know what is happening in the background of the AI systems that we are using. They are just black box systems that we just implicitly trust. But the question is, do we need to continue trusting them based on what we have seen on the news headlines? Another mitigating factor is that when we actually begin to govern AI, then we'll develop some systems that ensure that there is mitigation of bias and that there are fairness outcomes that are promoted will also prevent dissenting voices. One time management is saying use AI, the other they're saying don't use AI. You come to academia, lecturers are using AI, they're using ChatGPT, you know, they are using Gamma AI, they are developing, you know, your PowerPoint slides for purposes of facilitating the sessions that they are conducting. But at the same time, students are being shot down to say, do not use ChatGPT. Again, the same ChatGPT is used to assess the student assessments that they would have submitted. So this then becomes very confusing. Are we supposed to be using it? Are we not supposed to be using it? What is the institutional framework saying? Last but not least, if we have an institutional framework that is governing how we use AI, we are bound to prevent harm and ensure safety. Think about yourself as an instructional designer in the context of an institution such as a university. You may want to use AI for creating your learner personas, but how guaranteed are you that the learner personas that you are creating, they do not have implicit bias, or they do not have algorithmic bias that has been built into it? Not only that, if you want to use AI again as an instructional designer for personalizing of your courses or adaptive assessments, you need to understand the algorithms that are powering the AI. You need to understand how the AI is processing personal information. You need to understand how your application programming interface keys are being kept and protected by the AI technology. But in this case, because there is no institutional framework that is prescribing, perhaps in terms of the technologies that are supposed to be used, which are safe, which are transparent in terms of how they are protecting and processing the personal data, then we are all left in a gray area where we are actually alone. We don't know whether to continue using it or not to use it. And when things go wrong, one of the things surely that you will be asked is that, who authorized you to use it? We've got AI tutors that are mushrooming. People are creating business around AI tutors. They are commissioning these to universities. They are commissioning these to primary schools, high schools. The question is, are those institutions ready? Do they have an AI governance framework? Just right now, they are struggling with implementing POPIA. How much are they going to be able to sort of handle the governance of AI when they are struggling with POPIA? Are we not just giving them too much? Then we've got image and audio generation. When images are generated, are they not marginalizing certain groups and perpetuating certain stereotypes? Are our AI systems that we are using as instructional developers not perpetuating those kinds of discrimination? Think about Articulate Storyline 360. Right now, they just introduced their AI tool, which allows an instructional designer to generate images, to generate audio. But the question is, do we have institutional oversight over those AI systems? For many organizations, unfortunately, that is not the case. And this is a problem, because then if anything goes wrong, as an instructional developer, you are left alone. While it is very nice to actually have innovative technologies helping you to be much more efficient and productive, the problem is we still need governance. We still need the institutional oversight to be done there in the form of an AI framework that governs how we are using AI technologies. Which technologies are we supposed to be using? And then currently the challenges that I've seen that we're experiencing as instructional developers in using AI is that we think this is about content, and AI is spawning a lot of content out there. The issue is not about content. Instructional design is not about content. It's about articulating our value to the organization in actually helping the organization to solve its own problems. So if we can articulate value to the organization based on understanding the business problems that we are solving, understanding our business case, it will make a difference. Because currently, just prior to the launch of the AI, we've always been gatekeeping the content. Now that AI is here and it's actually producing a lot of content, it might seem as if even our work is sort of at risk of being terminated, since AI can do that. So I'm just saying, as instructional designers, it's very important to also understand how we into the business strategy, and then think about cybersecurity concerns as well, and environmental sustainability. And as much as we are interested in using AI technology, we need to select the AI technologies that are environmentally sustainable, technologies that are not sort of having a lot of a negative environmental impact. And the organization can help in that, because if they put an AI framework, then it can help them to actually ensure that a proper sort of AI technology is chosen, which is environmentally friendly and does not contribute to climate change. With that, I would like to stop here and thank you. I will take questions if there are any, or comments.
Thank you, Phezulu, for an insightful presentation. I see that we already have one hand. You could please put on your microphone and just talk. Ask your question, please. Komotso.
Hello.
Yeah, there you are. Okay, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Phezulu, for a very insightful presentation. I have one question regarding data security. I mean, more especially when dealing with organizations that have a lot of intellectual property. The concerns being that, you know, there's a lot of possibilities for malicious AI programs or what so not to steal information. How can one, or how do you navigate around that kind of challenge? Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
That's my question.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that question. Again, I think it goes back to what I've just been discussing, that if we have got a proper governance framework within the organization, it will then guide in terms of the strategic direction. It will then guide in terms of which platforms to use. It will also guide in terms of the architecture of those platforms. But currently, if there is no architecture, if there is no governance framework that detects how we are actually going to be using the AI in order to leverage business value, then we will miss it. We will have a lot of information breach because we don't understand the technology itself. We're just using it haphazardly because everyone is on the AI trend. So we mustn't just focus on the AI trend. We must assess the impact of AI and how AI can actually help in realizing the business strategy, in addressing the challenges that the business is facing. And perhaps lastly, maybe at an implementation stage, rather have your custom built chatbot that can actually, your custom built GPT that can actually help with processing information. It could be, information for onboarding, for safety, and many others. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the explanation.
Thank you for that explanation, Phezulu. Are there any other questions? None other. Thank you so much for attending this session. And we are just done in time. So please remember to visit the live program to see the next presentations that's going to happen in Hall 1 or in Hall 2. And let's see you again there. Thank you so much.